Hey everybody, welcome to Vault Empowers Talks. Vault Empowers Talks is a series devoted to inspiring, motivating, educating leaders in their journey towards success. Now through this series, you get access to the most accomplished experts that are here to share their knowledge in things like business development, career advancement, financial management, personal growth, and health and wellness. And today, we get to have a one-on-one conversation with the marketing and branding phenom, Miss Karen Civil. Now, Karen Civil was born in Brooklyn, New York, but raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. As the daughter of Haitian parents, hard work and discipline was stressed at a very young age. Now, while her peers found their interests outside the home, Karen developed a love for her computer, more specifically, the internet. She began putting together Yahoo fan groups for the actor J.D. Williams and the Backstreet Boys, which garnered hundreds of members. She then went on for a highly competitive contest hosted by radio station Hot 97 to be Angie Martinez's intern. Well, she lost in the very final round, but Karen never gave up. She called Hot 97 until she got through to DJ Funkmaster Flex's team and asked to be his intern. They agreed, and she got her start in the music industry. Now, while she loved the glamorous life of meeting her favorite celebrities and rap artists, Karen knew that she wanted to learn more about the business side. Taking a job in A&R for a music label, Karen immersed herself in learning the business of marketing and branding for rap artists. It wouldn't be long before Karen decided to start her own branding business. Through it, she found her passion in discovering up-and-coming hip-hop artists and giving them a platform to feature their work. Now, since starting the Karen Civil brand, Karen has expanded her client base to include not only hip-hop megastars like J. Cole, Lil Wayne, and the late Nipsey Hussle, but also luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton and politicians like Hillary Clinton. In 2015, Karen added author to her long list of accomplishments in publishing the book Be You and Live Civil. These are tools for unlocking your potential and living your purpose. Now, Karen's name has been featured on prestigious lists such as Essence Power 100 list and honored by Black Enterprise as Social Influencer of the Year. And amidst all of her incredible work, Karen puts giving back at the top of her priority list, as she has built a computer lab and an orphanage in Haiti through her Live Civil Foundation. Welcome to Vault Empower Talks, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous, the absolutely fabulous and so fly, Miss Karen Civil. Hey, Karen.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I wanted to talk to you because you're just such an example of true entrepreneurship. You've built this successful business and brand from the bottom up. You gave a TED Talk once about making a living doing what you love. So tell us about your love for digital marketing, which started very early, and then tell us how you were able to sustain this business.
It started for me just not fitting in. You know, I come from Haitian immigrant parents who migrated here when they were in their early 30s. They worked very hard. The Haitian kids necessarily didn't identify with me because Creole wasn't my first language, English was. So predominantly a lot of them were in these ESL classes and they would, you know, be together all day, and I just went to standard class. So there goes my friendships there. And then unfortunately, like, Black American kids didn't feel like I was one of them because, you know, there was still this segregation in parts in Elizabeth. It was by choice, where Haitians hung with Haitians, Blacks hung with Blacks, Dominicans hung with Dominicans. I didn't really have friends. It was really tough for me. So instead of complaining about it, I went online. These discs would come to the house. If people remember, there was AOL disc. This was before people were asking you what you look like and things like that. And I just was Karen, and I didn't have to hide who I was. I loved pop music. I dressed in all black. I dressed like Wednesday Addams, and I happened to love the Backstreet Boys. So online, I got to be myself, and I love that. While everybody was like outside, you know, going to parties and doing different things, I was able to find a community of people outside of my community who had things in common with me. And it let me know, like, as different as you may be, you are unique, you are special. There are people who understand you that you could get along with. So this really opened up things for me where I started just my mindset and how I saw things. That right there was really what propelled it for me. It turned into a hobby. It started with my love of, I love J.D. Williams, the actor, Bodie. He played Bodie on The Wire. I thought he was gonna be the big breakout thing. I zoomed in on J.D. I said, he's gonna be the breakout star. I love him, I wanna make a fan site for him. And it got me an opportunity to meet him. Then I created one for the Backstreet Boys. I entered this MTV Fanatic contest. I didn't win, but their label at the time still flew me and my mom to Canada to meet them. And this was the second time the internet got me what I wanted. So now it's like, listen, the internet's getting me what I want. My hobby is helping me meet all these people, but now how do I turn it into a real life job? It took a couple of years, but I'm happy that I took that bet on myself and turned my hobby into a career.
It's really interesting what you just said, because you took what would bury most people, you know, this not finding a lane to be accepted in. And that's what I find what happens to a lot of young people. They don't find the lane to be accepted in, and then what ends up happening is they don't actually see what's actually being shown to them. Because sometimes you get so immersed in the, oh, woe is me and what I'm not, that sometimes in those moments of not being accepted or not knowing where to put in, it actually leads you to realizing that you're special, that you're different.
I think that was really the most important thing. You know, going back to how you said about the lanes, that's the way that I looked at it and I identified was like, I don't really have a lane. So what am I supposed to do? Not get on this highway called life? No, put on your construction hat and build your lane. And I know it's gonna take time, and I rather put that time and effort into something that I love and taking a gamble on myself, as opposed to just following the norm or the peer pressure of life of trying to be like everyone else.
A buddy of mine that's in the music business, he wrote a book one time, and I love the title. It said, "Ain't no traffic on the extra mile." You know, and you just got on that extra mile. Ain't no traffic out there, you know what I mean? You created your own lane. You know, considering all your success in marketing and branding fields, how would you describe your gift? What are you gifted at?
It's always finding a way to do things, finding a way for something to scale, conversation, turn a negative into a positive. I see a way. You have to walk with purpose. You have to walk with faith. And that's literally me. And my purpose for me is creating this legacy, this blueprint that wasn't there before, but this legacy that will live on after me, that continuously helps other women find their purpose, be comfortable with who they are, be in a space where they can authentically show up as themselves. So the same way how people are like, oh, I am not my ancestors, oh, I am, to a point where I know being the first independent country and just the work that they did and what was instilled there is like, that's the fight that's continuously in me, where when opportunities come, it's like I'm thinking about the next woman. I don't live in the notion like, oh, because I went through it, you have to go through it. No. Let's make it much easier for the next person so they don't have to go through those same obstacles. They can just, you have an advantage. So that for me is all about that purpose, is continuing to elevate our community, but also creating a legacy for who's to come.
What is it that made you start your own company?
It started honestly with Lil Wayne when I did the Wheezy Thanks You with him. And this is where all the business stuff comes in, because the president of Young Money, who was an artist at the time, Mac Main, was like, yeah, so like, you know, send us your invoice and W-9. And I was like, huh? He was like, yeah, just send us your company info. I'm like, oh, you can't just like PayPal me? He was like, no, send us your stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I was talking to one of my close friends, and I'm like, yeah, they're asking me for a W-9, company information. Like, ain't that just me, my social? And he was like, no, Karen. And he really broke it down to me. He was like, he helped me with my name, which is always Civil Enterprise, which stands for ACE, an acronym for ACE. And he helped me figure out my name. He got me with a business manager, setting up the whole thing so my business was intact. And when I first started, again, it's just something that I loved and I wanted to do. And that's when I realized I got to put the business hat on and all that stuff that comes with it, getting an accountant, knowing all the other things, your LLC and 1099s and W-2s, and that eventually came with it. But it honestly started with Wayne and Mac Manning. Those are two individuals I owe to this day who continuously, if you get to work in an extension of them or be around them, they always want people around them to evolve. I went into it as a girl who had a blog, and now I've had numerous opportunities off of Mac and Wayne continuing to help me build my empire.